So I want to tell you a story about something I did with an organisation that really worked effectively and sums up for me what you want to be thinking about over how do we reach content. I think when we all start out generally on this social media journey, one of the things which I'm constantly being asked about is, I understand that we want to get people to contribute, but how do we actually get people to make that contribution to the effort? What do you need to do? So one of the things I want to talk to you about is a competition that I ran. To set the scene, we first tried to go down what you might call a marketing route of saying brand advocacy. So we ran a brand advocate workshop and said, this is what we're going to do, this is our intention, and 7 people sign up for the brand advocate workshop. And that was really geared around teaching people how to be storytellers, how to tell a story in the organisation. And in reality, the 7 people who turned up probably weren't the 7 people we wanted telling our story, because when you think about who do you want as your storytellers in any organisation, you get 3 different types of people. You get the terrorists and you get the lovers. The terrorists hate you, doesn't matter what you do, they will always have a negative message. The lovers love you, doesn't matter what they say. And then the people in the middle are the people who don't have massive opinions one way or the other, but are okay, they're fine. If I want to know what it's like to work in an organisation, the people I want to hear the story from are the people who sit bang in the middle. I don't want to buy a story that loves it, I don't want to buy a story that hates it. I want to see who are the people who sit in the middle, who gets it right. That's why on things like Glassdoor, if you want to get a fair reflection, ask every single employee, make it easy for them to complete a profile, because then you get a true reflection of what your organisation is. And in terms of content, so how did we do that? The first thing we did is we said, right, let's not call it content, let's not call it marketing, because that means extra work or controlled message. It feels like spin when we talk about things like EVP, employer brand, and so on. So what we did is we just ran an Instagram workshop, a voluntary Instagram workshop, and the best person in the organisation to run that Instagram workshop was somebody who worked for the company in a reasonably junior role, but had a great Instagram account, very good at doing filters, all the rest of it. So we ran an Instagram workshop, 1 hour drop-in. Over 350 people signed up for that and came in and learned how to do filters. At the end of it, we said, right, we're going to have a competition. Go and take a picture of work. Take a picture that represents your job. And we ended up with over 2,000 pieces of content. And we could tag those pictures back to individual roles. So every time we needed content, very easy to go and find content for that. We then progressed that into doing an iPhone workshop in how do you make a video from an iPhone. Managed to get someone for quite a small budget to come from one of the television channels. He was a news reporter. He was talking about how they use iPhones to tell stories in quite close quarters and when it's right, and what benefit they get from using iPhone over using a camera, a digital camera, and using a studio to mix that. So we actually put that together, and we had about 450 people sign up for that particular workshop to come along and do iPhone. But then the Android people started complaining and saying, what about us? So we had 700 people sign up for the Android, which told us a little bit about how we might want to distribute this content. And we ran a competition to say, make a 1-minute movie about your job. And we want to know about life at, rather than this is my job, this is what I do. Because people know what people do in jobs, they just don't know how they do it in the environment they do it. So creating real short-term contact. We did the same thing with a SoundCloud workshop over audio. We did the same thing over we ran storytelling workshops for blogging, where we got people to talk about this is how you tell stories. We did reporting workshops where we said, right, if this is going on, we want someone to cover this event. This is the way you which you report an event. Suddenly we created a culture of content where people naturally did it. And you've got to think about how you achieve this in the beginning through competitions is by getting people to contribute. So when people are in their social life, they don't think about the fact that they're updating Facebook or they're creating a YouTube video. They don't think, oh, I must create content. They just create content. So how can we do that in our organisations so that people naturally want to report, they naturally want to post pictures, they naturally want to tell stories. It doesn't take a lot of time. They understand the guidelines of how we want to do it. We achieve that through competitions, guidelines, and actually creating stories.